Hello and welcome to the BA News Show, the first one post-Christmas. Rich and I wish all of you a very Merry Christmas, and we hope you're having plenty of fun getting stuck into some great video games. But spare a second to watch this video if you can. And just to kick us off really, what a fantastic time it is to be a gamer. Just in case you didn't quite get that game you wanted for Christmas, well, never fear, there's a ton of Boxing Day sales that have come out, and we wanted to just give you a few of those to pique your interest, and perhaps you can look to purchase in the new year. So to start us off, we've got a PS4 Pro 1TB bundle with assorted games that's £249 at Currys, and I hasten to add this is in the UK, which is where Rich and I are based. We've got a Nintendo Switch Lite with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which is £219 at Currys, and an Xbox One X with Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and that's £279 at Currys. And apart from the main console deals, there's a host of kind of eShop store sales, ranging from Nintendo's, which I think is up to 80% off some games, PlayStation Store up to 70% off. There's a special offer on the Xbox Games Pass Ultimate for the first 3 months it's only £1, and then a Steam sale to boot. So whatever your particular flavour, be it Xbox, PlayStation or Switch or even PC, you know, there's a bargain to be had out there, so get stuck in, BArcadians. So yeah, without further banging on that front, Rich, we've got 3 items today.
We have indeed.
It was a fairly slow week as expected, but we've scraped the proverbial barrel, and we've got a few things to discuss. And I think you want to get us started on the first.
Yes, so PT. Lots of you will know PT. It was the demo to what we all thought at the time would be a fully fledged Silent Hill game made by Kojima with Konami. That all went awry, and the demo is left as has always been, and it will never be anything more than that so far as we know. But YouTuber Lance McDonald has been discovering hidden gems in the demo for quite a while now. He originally discovered that Lisa, the ghost, I think she's the ghost in PT, isn't she, Tabs?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, she's the horrific ghost woman.
She basically follows your character around at all times. And he also discovered...
Which is creepy as, right? Well,
yeah, proper. And he also discovered the secret hidden bathroom scene, which I think depicts, is it Lisa beheaded in the bath, I believe, but I'm not 100% on that. But he has recently discovered something else in the coding. Those that have completed the PT demo will know that at the end of PT you go through a door and you come out into like a cityscape, which looks very much like the Silent Hill
of old
town. Yeah, basically. Well, it turns out through looking through the coding, he'd worked out that is literally going through that door is calling a section of coding up, and he recoded it so that the first door you go through in the PT demo, which I think normally brings you out into the corridor, he reprogrammed it so that you would come out into the cityscape. So we could try and see if that was a fully fledged bit of world, or whether it was just some sort of a screen. But it turns out it's exactly. It turns out it is actually a fully fledged world. So he walks out into the world. Unfortunately, there doesn't seem to be any physics or clash models within that world. So as soon as you step out into the world, you literally just
free fall.
Basically free fall continuously until Lisa basically resets you.
Turns into a skydiving simulator, eh?
Exactly. Not to worry though, Lance was able to reprogram it so that your character hovered above the ground slightly, which meant that he could actually go out into this world, explore it, see what was there, and it turns out it's a fully detailed world. There's fire escapes, nicely detailed cars, buildings, and it does go on for quite a stretch until you eventually come to the end of it. So it does look that was some proper artifacts that were going to be used in the game, obviously that now won't ever be used, but it's amazing that we got to see that, and yeah, we got to see it in all its detail. So great kudos to Lance on that one.
I'm yet to see the footage for this, but I really do need to check it out because I'm a massive Silent Hill fan, and you know, we heard that thin rumour recently about Kojima and Konami making friends and him getting the franchise again. I mean, it's probably not true, but I still wish that Kojima does turn his attention to a horror game, even if it's not Silent Hill, and has another go with this asynchronous gameplay design. I can really, you know, see something special being created there. And I'm pretty sure from what we've seen, I won't spoil it, but for what we know now of the backstory in Death Stranding, specifically related to the character Sam, there's a lot of crossover there in the setup to the PT demo and the story of, I think it's Lisa the Ghost. So
well,
I'm convinced he kind of adapted it from that.
The other thing that we know, Tabs, that Norman Reedus, who's the star of Death Stranding, was also found to be part of the aspects of the PT demo.
He is the protagonist you play as. You never see him because it's first person, but yeah, spot on. So, you know, that just tells you for me that Silent Hills was supposed to be, in some ways, Death Stranding, and I really would love to know how he was going to work the asynchronous into a Silent Hill game. Whether it's to do with opening doors and bits and pieces, it was obviously very different to what we see in Death Stranding. And you know, that tether to an existing franchise and story might have just helped you know, make a slightly different game, perhaps not as bizarre and wacky as Death Stranding was, beautiful as it was. But anyway, yeah, very exciting times. Let's just pray that Kojima's onto something similar next.
Cool. Move us on, Tabs.
Right, so the second item is all about the Nintendo and the Switch. So yeah, it's not a Switch 64, as you might confusingly presume, but essentially Nintendo have got their hands on some new tech, which is essentially a 64 gigabyte 3D NAND, as it's called, memory chip. In a nutshell, this means that previously they were limited to 32 gigabyte carts in Switch games, and this is actually going to expand that to 64 gigabytes. So the reports are from AnandTech, and essentially that Macronix, a manufacturer of data storage, are going to be shipping these 3D NAND memory chips, and Nintendo are first in the queue and one of their biggest customers. So, you know, what does this mean? Well, we know that developers have been pinched, should we say, with porting some of the more complex games onto the Nintendo Switch with this 32 gigabyte cap. So this expands the scope, you know, and maybe next year, if we're hoping to see something like perhaps a Switch Pro or even a Switch 2. Well, this is just going to mean that developers have more scope to cram in those more complex assets that you see, you know, in more modern games. So hopefully it's just going to keep the relevance of the Switch and give a bit more power to developers, which in turn will encourage them to get more stuff on it. So yeah, what are your thoughts, Rich? Anything?
I mean, I think this piece of information falls at a very interesting time for the Switch, because ultimately, with the onset of the new Xbox and the new PlayStation, Nintendo are going to have to do something to sort of stay with the crowd a little bit, with next gen sort of going to be the buzzword next year. So I think this drops at a really interesting time. Could it be that they're going to use a 64 gig cart for Breath of the Wild 2, which we're thinking we might see next year? Are we going to see, like you say, are we going to see a new Switch? I think it's likely we'll see a new Switch next year. Not necessarily a Switch 2. I think they'll do like Xbox and PlayStation have done, like a Switch Plus or a Switch Pro, you know, such as PS4 Pro, Xbox One X.
It makes sense, doesn't it? Because they don't want to suddenly make the existing Switch SKUs irrelevant. They just want to bridge it and, again, as we say, kind of lift the ceiling on what the Switch can do to keep it relevant, to keep ports coming in from other developers. So that kind of bridge would seem the perfect solution. And this 64 gigabyte, you know, it just seems, you know, in terms of the game storage, hopefully in line with new hardware, it's just really gonna, you know, lift the lid and keep those ports coming across. Because, well, is it just outsold Xbox? Rich, did I see in the news recently?
Oh, I don't know. I've not seen that. Probably.
I think
it's been selling really well.
Yeah. So very exciting times, and with Rich and I hoping to attend E3 next year, you know, we're still keen on seeing some
Absolutely.
some
I would
amazing
love
things.
Breath of the Wild 2 playable at E3 next year,
Fingers crossed, my friend.
but we'll see. Next up, we're going to talk The Witcher. Some of you may have seen that Netflix have dropped their exclusive new TV series Witcher, which is based on the Witcher books, I believe, and it's titled just Witcher. It currently sits at 53 on Metacritic and 56 on Rotten Tomato. Henry Cavill plays the lead of Geralt. I have watched the first episode, and I have to say I wasn't blown away by it. I think it definitely could be a grower. Have you watched any of it, Tabs?
Yeah, we've had a bit of a binge over Christmas, so I've watched it front to back now.
Nice.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's the best show ever. It's a bit incoherent at times, and the mood and tone can swing around a bit, but I don't know if that's intentional. I won't spoil anything, but I think there might be, as we see the series grow, we might see that there's a reason for that. So, but yeah, I've really enjoyed it. It's a perfect kind of substitute if you're a Game of Thrones fan and you want to slake that fantasy thirst that left. And just personally, I don't know if you'd seen, Rich, but apparently Cavill was dead keen on this role. He is an avid PC gamer, and he got his agents to plague Netflix as soon as he found out it was they were developing a series. So I really love that, because he's obviously really familiar with the the lore, the mythology behind it via the games, and he's obviously got a lot of passion to play the part, and I think that comes through in the way he portrays the role. He seems to be authentic, and he gives it a real life, and that alone makes a big difference to series.
Did I read he was quoted in saying something like, "I'd rather stay in and play games than go out to fancy parties," or something along those lines?
Yeah, basically.
Which was interesting.
Yeah, he's got like a little gamer corner at one of his luxury apartments or something, I think I was seeing on a YouTube show. But it's just lovely, isn't it, to see that this AAA celebrity is, hardcore gamer like many of us, and is proud to say it on national TV. I mean, that just shows you how far gaming's come. And anyway, I'm going to stay glued to the Witcher TV show. But I think it's done some wonders as well, has it, Rich, for the video game?
Yes, so Witcher 3, I think first released in 2015, so it's a good few years old now, has actually in the last few days following The Witcher being released, has the most people playing it online of any Steam game, so we're talking PC here, and actually has more people playing it, or it's the biggest peak in people playing it since the expansion pack launched in 2016.
Wow.
But interestingly, currently it has more people playing it daily than Red Dead Redemption 2, which is incredible given Red Dead Redemption 2 is, a year old, 18 months old, and obviously The Witcher 3 is like getting on for 4 years old. So yeah, that's really interesting. It's crazy that a TV series has given such a boost to a game. So that's cool.
I think this is really interesting. I think this could potentially, as long as people actually in the industry pay attention to this could be massive. Because, if this is rejuvenating kind of cross-selling into video games, there's reason for games and movies and TV series to really get in bed together, so to speak, and make more of these sorts of, cross-selling opportunities. So that might mean we see a lot more adaptations, which is great, because as gamers, I think if you love a world or a universe or a franchise, you want to see it in every media, don't you?
Definitely.
Done in your favourite way. So this could be a bit of a turning point, I think, in the industry if they seize upon this opportunity.
And actually, sort of on this same Witcher link, it's been long said that The Witcher 3 would probably be the last Witcher we would see, because it was thought that CD Projekt Red and the author of the Witcher stories, and bear with me, this might be the incorrect pronunciation, Andreev Sapkowski?
Yeah, I would say Andrei
Sapkowski?
Sapkowski. Yeah, I think you got.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good shout, mate. We're probably
I'll
both
run
wrong.
with that. Yeah. There was talk that there'd been some ill feeling, there'd been a fallout, they weren't talking, but actually in the last few days we've heard that it's very likely that a new deal has been signed between the two so that they can make another Witcher game. We're assuming The Witcher 4, and CD Projekt Red have actually said don't think this game will become anytime soon. I'm guessing, because this is like the first, you know, like sort of movement on this game being developed. So that's really cool news that we might see a Witcher 4, because I know the Witcher series has been quite successful and people really do love it, which I'm guessing is why they've made a TV series about it.
Well, this is it. In terms of merchandising alone, it's a smart commercial decision because it's just lit Netflix on fire. On top of the fact that The Witcher 3 was very successful in itself, and you know they've been porting it to all sorts ever since, you know, not least the Switch recently.
Absolutely.
So just from that point of view, you've got to think there's some kind of legacy sales they can kick up. But yeah, more so in the future, fingers crossed, they've now safeguarded the future of the potential franchise. And although they're deep into Cyberpunk 2077, and blimey, we can't wait for that. Well, hopefully, you know, maybe 5 years from now, we might see the next installment in the Witcher franchise. So I'm happy about that. They seem to be, you know, trusted custodians of the franchise. So all hail CG Projekt Red.
And also, we'd love to see a next-gen Witcher. So all good.
Oh yeah, I can't even imagine how good that will look with their skill set behind it.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I think that's probably about everything for today, Rich. Is there any closing statements you'd like to make? Wish everybody else a happy New Year.
Well, yeah, I hope everyone had a wonderful Christmas, and yeah, all the best for the new year. We're going to drop a video, I think, on New Year's Eve, so look out for that. Just a little piece about things we've enjoyed and not enjoyed in 2019. So yeah, that's where we're at.
So yeah, guys, as always, thank you very much for watching this video. Please give us a like. It really helps to support and grow the channel. And yeah, subscribe if you're not already, and ring that bell to stay abreast of everything Rich and I put out there. And yeah, just a parting Happy New Year from Rich and I at Binary Arcadia. We'll see you on the other side, and here's hoping to a splendid 2020 for everybody and for the gaming industry at large. I think that's all we've got time for today. Another one for the archives.
Stamped and completed.